Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you are all safe and well during these trying times. I am the Curious Owlbear, and I'm continuing the series where I give you ideas for random encounters that don't suck. Today, we're headed to the elemental plane of fire, or perhaps the caldera of an active volcano. Let's see what our adventurers will run into. The adventurers have made it through an arduous journey to the elemental plane of fire. It is a difficult place for mortals from the prime material plane to survive, but the group believes they have adequately prepared for the dangers that they will face. Within a few minutes of entering the plane, the group notices the sound of quickly releasing gas, as if spewing from a leaky pipe. They notice a small patch of ash and dirt slowly rising nearby until it suddenly bursts. It was actually a bubble of molten rock that seeped through the surface of the plane, and any characters that are in close proximity to the bubble will need to pass a dexterity saving throw, or take some nasty fire damage. This molten rock may deal more damage on subsequent rounds, unless the players act quickly to remove it from their person. Continuing on, the adventurers soon encounter an interesting plant that they probably haven't seen before. It's a beautiful red flower, which grows from a slight but staunch stem. If any players decide to pick the flower, then its defensive mechanism will activate. The flower instantly bursts into flame, and quickly shrivels into a darkened husk of what it once was. It seems that the flower destroys itself when threatened, ensuring that its seeds will spread instead of simply being digested. As the DM, you may allow your players to develop a creative approach to harvesting the flower, assuming that they're determined to get one. The group's travels take them to the edge of a lake, which looks very similar to those on the prime material plane. The water in this lake is both layered with sulfur and heated to boiling. If the group doesn't notice the temperature before they enter the water, or attempt to cross it, then they may experience some negative effects. If they do realize that the lake is filled with boiling water, then they may use it as a resource, whether it be for washing clothing, cooking dinner, or taking a nice heated bath. Also residing in the lake are schools of pinkish red fish that do not seem bothered by the temperature of the liquid. They're quite large, about the size of a normal salmon, and they may look quite delicious to some members of the party. If the group is able to harvest some of the fish, then they will find that they come out of the water with completely cooked meat. Of course, the group will still need to gut and clean the fish before they're prepared for human consumption. After a rainy night, the group must traverse the caldera of an active volcano. They climb carefully along the steep slope. Time and time again, the damp earth slips under their feet, and they lurch toward the lake of molten lava below. Finally, a boulder looses from its perch above the party, causing a landslide. You can decide exactly how you want to handle it, but I recommend an athletics or acrobatics check to avoid the landslide. If any players are caught in it, they will need to make a dexterity or strength saving throw, your choice, to attempt to stop their fall along the steep slope before they reach the lake of lava and certain death. The group travels on, but it isn't long before they experience another interesting weather effect. The winds pick up, swirling in unnatural patterns, and accumulating various embers from the exposed lava on the surface. This fiery tornado rampages across the terrain, displacing anything that stands in its way, and setting fires everywhere it goes. The elemental fire of this plane does not need fuel or air to burn. Thus, the group will need to move quickly to avoid this threat. Even when the party is not facing the threat of fire or lava, temperatures on the surface of this plane are incredibly hot. Near midday, there is a massive heat wave which falls over the area, and the superheated air becomes filled with noxious gases, a byproduct of the volcanic processes which go on under the surface. As DM, you can decide exactly how taxing you wish to make these gases. I recommend some damage, inflicting the poison condition, or simply the air becoming unbreathable. The players will once again need to jump into action to avoid asphyxiation from these noxious fumes. During their travels, the party encounters a band of serpentine or draconic-looking individuals with long, snaking bodies and the upper torso of a humanoid. They resemble the Yuan Ti to any dwellers of the material plane, but their skin is a fiery red. They carry well-crafted weapons and hurry to engage the intruders from another plane. Salamanders are quite common in the elemental plane of fire, and they are a good introduction to the dangers that adventurers may face there. Their bodies and weapons are superheated, which cause extra fire damage to any melee attackers, and extra fire damage on their melee hits. They are formidable foes, especially in larger packs, and adventurers will need to defend themselves accordingly. Not long after, the party begins to notice hulking bipedal elementals whose skin burns red or black. The Ifrit are another common sight in the elemental plane of fire, and are known for creating the Ifriti chain magical item, which grants its wearer resistance to fire. These elementals could become useful allies to the party, but they are evil creatures with their own agendas. As such, they are also formidable foes with innate spellcasting abilities, large scimitars, and flames which they can hurl at will. If the adventuring party crosses one or more of these creatures, then they will have a deadly fight ahead of them. Finally, the party encounters a Gargantuan Elemental. It's a massive avian creature that flies over, paying little attention to the adventurers. If they attempt to engage it, then it brutally attacks with flybys and deadly beak and talon. The Phoenix is one of my favorite creatures in D&D, if only for the amazing mental image of a gargantuan fiery bird. If the party is able to slay such a creature, then it explodes, leaving behind only a large cinder. This cinder is actually an egg that would hatch into another phoenix given the correct environmental conditions, effectively making these creatures immortal. Of course, if the egg falls into the wrong hands, then this could pose a significant threat to the adventuring party in the future. And that brings us to the end of today's Fiery Encounters. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button. If you have ideas or requests for future videos, I'd love to read about them in the comments section below. Until next time, be well, be excellent to one another, and stay curious, adventurers.